in this video, we have with us Lal Nungimi.
And one day I searched up the CLAT paper and I found it really interesting. The final year played as much of a pivotal role as like my entire life and my interests throughout my life. To not take CLAT as an exam too seriously, my advice to CLAT 2026 aspirants is to enjoy the journey. So my biggest sort of obstacle was consistency. Be able to like find a good balance. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices. So my favorite thing about Legal Edge, it might be an unexpected answer, but it's the way the website is designed. The user experience is absolutely brilliant. Read about the things that are happening in the world, not because GK mein aayega, but because you genuinely care about social issues.
Hello aspirants, my name is Vaibhav and I welcome you to the YouTube channel of Legal Edge by Top Rankers. In this session, in this video, we have with us Lal Nungimi, who cracked CLAT 2025 examination, and we'll be talking to her about a lot of aspects around her preparation. So welcome Kimi, how are you?
Thank you sir, I'm good.
Alright, so how did you come to know about CLAT examination?
Right. So I got to know about CLAT from my seniors in debate societies. I'm an avid debater, and when I was in 9th grade, I realized that all of my, the presidents of the debate society, they would all be giving this CLAT exam. That's where I got to know about it. That's where I got curious about it. And one day I searched up the CLAT paper and I found it really interesting because I felt like as a debater, as someone who's always loved reading, it felt like I had been preparing for CLAT my entire life without knowing about it. So I felt like the exam was assessing things that I already had an aptitude for, that I had been practicing and working upon, so I felt that it would be a very good fit for me.
So was your reading skill developed over a lot of years, or is it something that you worked in the last 1 year?
So I think it's something that I developed throughout a lot of years. And for my CLAT preparation in general, I don't think, in my case specifically, I don't think the final year played as much of a pivotal role as like my entire life and my interests throughout my life. Because I've been a huge fan of literature since I was young. I absolutely adore debating. I love public speaking. I also love writing. So basically, most of the things that CLAT wants and most of the subjects in CLAT are things that I was already interested in before I even knew what CLAT was.
So now a piece of advice for CLAT 2026 aspirants who might not have that great reading aptitude, who might not have done a lot of reading.
Right.
What would your advice be as a very avid reader?
As an avid reader, I would say that to not take CLAT as an exam too seriously and to take it as like a sort of burden, because in a country like India, we have this perception of like entrance exams, everyone like sitting in coaching, doing things rigorously. CLAT doesn't have to be like that, in my opinion. Take a genuine interest in reading. Look at the questions and it's really interesting, even questions in logical reasoning, comprehension. Some of the passages are so interesting.
Correct.
Sometimes during mocks, I literally stop and wish that I could just read the passage slowly and just enjoy it because it's so interesting. So learn to enjoy the process, and that's amazing because even if CLAT, if it unfortunately doesn't go well, you still learn so many things in the process. So my advice to CLAT 2026 aspirants is to enjoy the journey and to sort of embrace all of the positive aspects and all of the growth that you can get from the really interesting syllabus of CLAT.
Alright. So I'm sure that your journey must not have been all ups.
Right.
You also must have witnessed some
Right.
dips. What were those dips and how did you overcome them?
Right, so my biggest sort of obstacle was consistency because like I said, I'm an avid debater and I'm also very active in school. Like I was also a prefect in school, I was in a lot of societies and clubs, and because of like lots of school activities and competitions, it's hard to find that time to be consistent and to study every day when you're participating in different events. And there were, like I'll be completely honest, there were weeks, even sometimes months, where I didn't study for CLAT even in class 12.
Okay.
And the way to overcome that is to be able to like find a good balance. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices for the sake of the exam, and sometimes you have to like learn how to strike that balance.
So now, one of the biggest challenges that those students face who are in 12th grade is to find that right balance of how much to study for 12th and how much to prepare and spend time for CLAT examination. What, in your opinion, is that right balance?
I think this balance will be different for everyone based on their priorities. If you're someone who's extremely sure about CLAT, extremely serious about CLAT, and you don't mind like a few like judgmental comments from your parents or teachers who are wondering why you aren't like living up to your academic potential in school, if you're okay with that, if you are satisfied with yourself, you know that you're focusing on CLAT and you're going to focus on doing well in CLAT, then that's the balance for you. But if you're someone who who still wants like the good grades in school, who still wants that perhaps on their resume or because of family pressure, because you personally want that academic validation and you want to prioritize your school grades, that is the balance for them. So it depends on, I think, everyone's personal priorities.
So let me actually get a little more personal with you. So we are sitting in December 2024 right now, and you must have your boards in like another 2 odd months, in another 60 odd days.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in Feb 2025, you will have your board examinations. What is your plan now? Now that you have secured a good rank, you know you are going to NLS Bangalore, you have also cracked ALET, NLU Delhi. Now, what's your plan going forward for the next 60 days as to how are you going to prepare for your board examinations?
I will be like preparing for my board examinations as much as I can, but at the same time, I won't like be putting pressure on myself or like being extremely scared about it, because like if I get above 90, I'll be fine with it.
Oh, fair enough.
But like one thing I would like to point out, especially like in like my personal case, is that I was very, very fortunate that I had a very supportive school admin who let me sort of like who gave me a lot of flexibility with my academics. So oftentimes I would tell a teacher that oh, I was at coaching, can I submit this assignment late, could I give this test later? And even my pre-boards that were in December that were clashing with CLAT, I was allowed to skip them entirely. So I was very fortunate in my case that I had the support of like the school administration in striking that balance for myself.
So a very, very earnest request to all the school teachers, to all the school admins and the principal, that please be a little more supportive for all the aspirants of CLAT examination, because we understand that the examination itself happens in the middle of the entire academic year of school. And in the longer run, these kids are something who want to become some really good, serious lawyers. And yes, they need that preparation for this examination. So Kimi, again, a very quick question as to how did Legal Edge help you in this entire journey of your CLAT preparation?
So my favorite thing about Legal Edge, it might be an unexpected answer, but it's the way the website is designed. The user experience is absolutely brilliant, because I feel like when you're a student, especially because I was an online student, and when you're trying to study for something throughout the whole year, little things like how does it feel to review a mock exam, what's the experience like searching for like material, searching for content. I found Legal Edge's online portal to be so convenient, so nice to use, like the way you could bookmark questions, the way you could review questions. Like that made the whole process of studying so much more efficient, so much more effective. Like compared to suppose like taking a written book and like looking at the MCQs, finding the answer key, just like that simplicity, and thank you to all the web designers. I think that was my favorite part of it. And secondly, the CLAT post, that was one of the main highlights. Every month I would like go to the printing shop and print all 500 pages, spiral bind it, and then I would study from it, and it was just a lovely experience. All of the graphic designers, thank you so much for your work on the CLAT post.
So that's amazing to know. So coming to one of the second last questions that I have in my mind for you, Kimi, what would your advice be for the CLAT 2026 aspirants?
It might be a little ironic for me to say this, because this is a channel of a coaching center, a great coaching center, but I would advise CLAT 2026 aspirants to not like confine their idea of preparing for CLAT into this idea of like coaching materials, mock tests, I'll sit down and study, I'll do practice questions. I feel like preparing for CLAT can be a much more enriching experience, because the things that CLAT tests are of that sort. I'd say things like reading for leisure, writing for leisure, read things that genuinely inspire and moves you. read about the things that are happening in the world, not because GK mein aayega, but because you genuinely care about social issues, because you care about those political movements that affects you and everyone. I feel like you don't even need to like sacrifice co-curriculars for it. Maybe pick up public speaking. I love public speaking.
Fair point.
When you participate in things like MUNs throughout the school year, I feel like indirectly you'll be developing skills as well as making like amazing memories and experiences that will help you towards that. And it'll also be like great for your mental health, which is a vital aspect of preparation. It's not just about shutting yourself in, sacrificing your social life, sacrificing your academic co-curricular life, and just like rigorously studying. I think you can have an amazing life as a student and sort of build all of these skills that will help you crack CLAT and also like help you grow as a person. That is what I would advise all the CLAT 2026.
An amazing piece of advice that just don't look at the preparation as preparation. Complement it with other skills that are going to help you across or throughout your life. Public speaking, writing, reading, some research. A lot of these things are something that you will actually be going and doing in your law school. So a great piece of advice. Thank you. So before we part ways from this podcast, Kimi, one final piece of question for someone who is standing on the crossroads, still undecisive as to whether to pursue law as a career or any other domain as their careers. What would your advice be to them? How to maybe end up with this decision?
I think there's a very simple way to figure out if law is for you, if CLAT is for you, and it's to just simply look at the CLAT test paper. That's what I did. And when I looked at it, I saw that, oh, this is something that's really interesting. This is something that I think I'm good at. This is something I would love to do. And if you look at the CLAT test paper and say that, oh, English, logical reasoning, a little bit of maths, current affairs, political affairs, things that are happening in the world, if you find that the question paper itself is interesting, challenging in a good way, then that's a really, really good sign that law is like probably suitable for you. Because I find that the CLAT test paper is a very honest reflection of what kind of skills you would need being a law student.
Amazing. So on that note, thank you so very much, Kimi, for joining us and for sharing such wonderful insights from your journey. And we would like to wish you all the very best for all your future endeavors by everyone from Top Rankers Legal Edge. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.